Hello, dear students. Welcome to Shri Jayendra Rank Zone. I am your mentor and your friend for the subject biology, and I will be taking care of zoology, that is animal science. So, my dear students, welcome back. I hope everyone is good at home. Please be at home. Stay safe. So today's topic we are going to start with is reproductive health. In the previous lectures we have done with human reproduction. Please go through the previous lectures so that you can establish a better connect for this chapter as well. So now we are going to start with the reproductive health. What exactly reproductive health means? Although reproductive health the definition is being proposed by WHO, but in very simple words, if I have to define reproductive health is keeping your reproductive system, keeping your reproductive organs in well-to-do condition, that is not only physically, it should be psychologically and it should be socio-economically as well. So the following contents we are going to cover with this topic. The first is the introduction of reproductive health. Then why reproductive health is needed? What is the need for reproductive health? Okay. Prevention of sexually transmitted diseases. The STDs means prevention of sexually transmitted diseases, especially the STDs. Okay. How we can prevent them. And before prevention, how can we actually ignore the happening of such diseases? Okay, how can we prevent the happening of such diseases, right? Then amniocentesis, okay, taking out of the amniotic fluid. I will tell you the brief procedure. What are the different birth control methods? What are the needs for birth control and what are the methods of birth control? Both we are going to discuss. Now next, contraception. What exactly contraception is and what is medical termination of pregnancy. Okay, so in the previous chapter we were on to this topic, human reproduction, fertilization, everything. Okay, so if a female, she doesn't want to get pregnant at that particular moment, so what options she's having in your hands right now, okay, right that time, okay, what are the different options she is having. Okay, so that's why we are going to discuss contraception and medical termination of pregnancy. Then next, what is infertility and what are different assisted reproductive technologies. Okay, this is the same term. Okay, assisted reproductive technologies. Assisted reproductive technologies means the reproductive technologies which can basically assist, which can help, which can support, okay, the process of fertilization. It's someone, a couple, he or she is having some problems, some medical conditions. That's why the female, they or the male, both the couples, they are not having a baby because of any reasons. We will be discussing every reason, every thin reason we are going to discuss. So these are the different contents we are going to cover in this coming chapter. So very interestingly, I will begin. Definition. What is reproductive health? So according to World Health Organization, my dear friends, my dear students, according to World Health Organization, reproductive health can be defined as it's a total well-being in all respects of reproduction. In all respects of reproduction means it is not only signifying or dealing or pinpointing the process of sexual intercourse. No. It is basically telling us that how can we keep psychologically the levels of our hormones balanced, how can we basically use different methods to prevent different types of diseases to happen, which are more likely to have their occurrence at the time of unsafe sexual measures. So the reproductive health basically deals with physical, emotional, social and behavioral aspects of reproduction. Okay, the physical aspects of reproduction means we will be using, okay, different physical tools or aids, okay, mean that not that aids, AIDS, okay, mean aids means helpful procedures, helpful measures, okay, to basically which can help us, or which can help any couple to have that, you know, phase of having a baby, to have that phase of smile on their faces. Okay, so that is why they need some medical terminologies, they need a best of the best medical, you know, techniques which can help them to have a child. So that's why it is emotional as well, because the female, she is very emotionally attached to her baby. In the previous you know, slides, in the previous lesson also we have gone through the type of placenta humans are having. Okay, so that emotion, okay, leads to, you know, disturbance in the hormonal levels in blood. So that is why everything is basically have a proper use, it is having a proper concern, and that is why reproductive health includes all these parameters: physical, emotional, social and behavioral. Social, simply social means what? The couples, they should have ethics, moral ethics, how to behave in the society. Okay, whether they are girlfriend, boyfriends, or whether they are married couples, whatever. The male, especially the male, they should have ethics, moral issue, I mean they should have the moral, you know, having the sense of morality in their mind, that how they are going to talk to a lady, how they are going to behave with a lady. Okay, so everything is, you know, it is considered here. Okay, whether it is physical, emotional, social or behavioral. Now coming to next, in other words, reproductively healthy men and women have physically and functionally healthy and normal reproductive organs. Okay, in other words, reproductive health or reproductively healthy men and women, they have physically and functionally healthy and normal reproductive organs, mean the organs are normal and they can perform their functions at their best. Okay, those organs, they are not suffering from any disease, there is no hormonal deficiency. Okay, and they have normal behavior, mean they are behaving normally to each other. Okay, they are not inclined towards, moreover they are moreover inclined toward the, you know, sexual desire or the desire of that heat. Okay, so that is why they should have everything balanced, right? They should have everything optimally calculated, balanced. Okay, whether it is emotional, behavioral or, you know, physical. Okay, and emotional interactions among them in all sex related aspects. In all sex related aspects means, see, there is a very bit confusion. Okay, especially in the, you know, mind of teenagers. Okay, that somebody, if they are talking about the sex, it means only they are hoping to fulfill their sexual desires. Okay, it's not like that. Seriously speaking, it's not like that. Okay, we are lacking as a developing nation, and one of the greatest cause is our population. The population explosion, especially in our countries, is the biggest cause of what economically, what socially, what physically, mentally we are right now. So why we should have so much of, you know, introvertness in talking about the sex related topics, especially when we talk about the healthy sexual topics to be discussed even in the classrooms or even between the friends. So that is why that mentality is to be cured. Before curing any reproductive disease, we should cure this mentality. Okay, now coming to next, this pictogram is basically, you know, giving you a sense that how reproductive health is being carried away. Okay, it is basically pursued by different methods. Okay, now coming to next, what are the different objectives? Objectives, at the end of this chapter you will be able to understand the general importance of reproductive health. Yeah, you will be given that why reproductive health is so necessary. Okay, understand the general importance of reproductive health, then understand the population problems. Okay, population is basically a kind of pollution only. a pollution which is basically increasing in number every single day. So we have to get rid of this pollution by controlling the every single parameter which lead to or which is related to the reproductive health, right? We have to basically control back of the mind that how can we prove or how can we make a society reproductive healthy, right? Learn how the reproductive awareness can provide, how can we provide the reproductive awareness in case of, in terms of anything, okay, whether it is mass communication, whether it is poster making, whether it is, role plays, whether it is, nukkad natak, anything which can just provide the sex related information to parents and especially the children of the age of 11 to 17 years, that how can they basically manipulate with their increasing levels of hormones, right? Now, a solution to population problem, okay. Then study the different kinds of birth control methods. Birth control methods means the different kinds of birth control methods like the natural method, the surgical method, and the hormonal method, okay. Study the different kinds of birth control and family planning measures Obviously, we are going to talk about the family planning measures. Then learn about the sexually transmitted diseases and importance of their awareness, okay. We have to learn about the sexual transmitted diseases and importance of their awareness, okay. One thing should I tell you, that why we are going to discuss this chapter today, because just after reproduction, this chapter is completely speaking, it is philosophical, okay. Although it is having logic of science, it is having a frame which is based on science, but that frame of science, it cannot be understood by a layman, okay. A common man cannot when he or she cannot give the thought of having a sense of science, okay, behind this reproductive health. So we are the ones, we have to convert the, we are the ones, we have to convert the link between the science and the language which a person can understand easily. So basically, that is why reproductive health, it needs, a orator which basically give us a sense that why it is necessary before sitting to the session and after the session is completed. You should have that objective in your brain that why reproductive health is important and why we are discussing it, okay. Now, learn about STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, and importance of their awareness, okay. How STDs are basically, sexually transmitted diseases are, they basically engrossing the societies, okay, very fast, okay, and their importance of their importance of their awareness, okay. Study the modes of transmission, how these sexually transmitted diseases are transmitted, what are the symptoms, and different treatment options available for different STDs. Sexually transmitted diseases, they have different modes of transmission. And why we need to study? Because if a person is meeting one and maybe that person is having multiple, sex partners or reproductive partners, okay. So that person is basically helping those sex partners to act as a carrier, okay, for that particular disease. And that is why the mode of transmission need to be studied, the symptoms need to be studied, the treatment options and the which are available. Understand conditions of infertility and different technologies developed to overcome the issue, okay. We should understand the conditions of infertility and different technologies developed to overcome the issues. How they can learn about the different techniques which help to have a baby, which help to have a possible fertilization, the assisted reproductive technologies, okay. Because infertility it is basically treated by these methods, but to be very frank, there is no 100% assurance of any method, whether it is scientific or natural or Ayurvedic, to have that inflow, okay. So these methods, they are assisted only, okay, they are not sure shot approaches, they are assisted only, okay. So now coming to the next slide, problems associated with reproductive health. What are the different problems associated with reproductive health? The very first and foremost is overpopulation. Overpopulation, India's main problem in every aspect. Why it is not touching the peak of the developmental heights is its population issue. Because the root cause is population. Why? Suppose you just confer or basically imagine an area which is having 100 individuals living in that space or place. Those 100 individuals, out of 100, 98 are workers, they are laborers, and 2 are, educated, they are working in offices and all. So those 98, their natality rate, the birth rate through them will be very high in comparison to the ones which are working or which are educated, because the ones which are the couple which is producing or which is giving rise to a new birth, they exactly don't know that how they are going to feed them. What they believe that whatever lifestyle they are having, they will give the same lifestyle to the baby, and baby will only act as a laborer arm to their family. But the fact is, in having the multiple laborer arms, they just go through the reproductive cycles again and again. The female, she is deteriorating with her health again and again. But the fact is, by the every moment, every single new birth, they are having their economical issues also going up. They are having the economical crisis which is coming at every single level. And not only them, the society as well. If they have more consumption, they will have more demand. They will consume more. When they will consume more, the resources will not be uniformly distributed to all the partners or to all the persons of that space, the 100 persons. And if the resources are not distributed uniformly, so someone will die because of lack of resource. Some will exploit the resource very much. So it means it is basically giving rise to a very big disturbance in the economical equilibrium, social equilibrium, physical health, every type of equilibrium. So that is why population is basically considered as a very big issue. Early marriages, especially in some places, marriage age is really low. 13 years, 11 years. The moment a girl, she have that sense of sexual maturity, even she is not having, the parents are having a sense of sexual maturity, she is forced to have that marriage, okay, to just act as a birth canal for the children to be reproduced again and again. That's it. So children, they are married as soon as they reach puberty. But the fact is, they have reached to the age of puberty, which just means that now they have a phase in which their reproductive organs are basically will develop. But the moment if the girl is basically forced to, or she is basically sent by the having emotionally background to the by parents to marriage, so what will happen? The reproductive organs are not developed, and as the reproductive organs are not developed, and by the way she get conceived, so the uterus is very small. The uterus is very small. The size of the uterus is very small. Okay, so those changes, abrupt changes in uterus, okay, those stimulative changes in uterus can lead to bleeding, can lead to multiple complications, and that is why the reproductive age and the marriage age, they should not coincide. Okay, there should be a gap so that a female or a male should have the sense of maturity, both sexually and psychologically. People pay no need to the government policies, norms of strict marriage age. Okay, people, they don't pay any attention to the government policy norms of strict marriage age. Now, compromise in health of mothers and pregnant women. Okay, how does pregnant mothers and health of those mothers, okay, they are compromised. Because of early marriage, the health of the mother, which mean a lady which is going to be mother in the next few days, okay. So because of early marriage, that undeveloped reproductive parts of female undergo so many hormonal disturbances which can lead to have a psychological trauma, and if that lady undergoes that psychological trauma, you cannot erase it, okay. That psychological trauma cannot be erased off, okay. Now early marriage, it leads to the undeveloped female undergoing pregnancy. Now deformities are common in children being born out of early marriage couples, okay. Deformities, they are common in children being born out of early marriage couples. The early marriage couples, for example, somebody is getting married in 13 years of age, they have just reached to the age of sexual maturity, okay. The female is 13 and a male is 16, okay. Now the babies which are produced, they also can have deformities. Deformities means developmental problems, okay. Why developmental problems? Because the reproductive organs of the female, they are not having sufficient, space to have that, a preparatory cavity, the amniotic fluid, okay. So maybe it can be of any reason, okay, lack of amniotic fluid, okay. So in case of males, the levels of testosterone in blood are not high, maybe it can be also a reason which can lead to some kind of developmental defects, okay. So there can be many reasons, multiple reasons, okay. Now maternal mortality rate, MMR, infant mortality rate. In case of early marriages, it is seen there is a very high risk of maternal mortality rate, MMR, and infantile mortality rate. Both the mother, okay, means the mother who is pregnant, and the other one, the infant, okay, they both have, just after delivery, the baby got collapsed. Why? Because the organs are not developed. The organs need time, they want nutrition, they want space to develop inside the mother uterus. But if you are not providing the sufficient space, sufficient fluid, sufficient nutrition, then what will happen? The organs will not develop, and that is why the infantile mortality rate will be high. So maternal mortality rate and the infantile mortality rate both are high. Sexually transmitted diseases, there is a complete lack of awareness about the reproductive organs. Because of complete lack of awareness of the reproductive organs, right methods of sexual performance, the persons, they do suffer from these sexually transmitted diseases. Contraception and other devices meant for safe sexual practices, and hence this cause high incidence of STDs among people. Contraception and other devices which are meant for safe sexual practices, and hence this cause high incidence of sexual transmitted diseases among people. There is a complete lack of awareness about the reproductive organs, contraception and other devices to be used by the persons to avoid these STDs. Sexual abuse and sex related crimes. Sexual abuse and sex related crimes, especially both for males and females, create a very unbeatable, unerasable psychological trauma, and this trauma can lead to a huge disturbance in their hormonal levels in the blood, which can lead to depression, which can lead to low levels of calcium, which can lead to low levels of electrolytes, which can lead to different psychological problems, okay. So it depends that how intensive that trauma is, okay. So because of these intensive traumas created through the sexual abuse or sex related crimes, okay, one should prevent themselves from these sexual abuse or sexual related crimes by having a right mode of education that why sexual abuse should not be done in the society, okay. Understood? The females, they should train with self defense methods so that they can defend themselves in such kind of conditions, okay. Amniocentesis. Amniocentesis is basically a method of fetal sex determination, and is commonly practiced by people even though it is banned by law. Amniocentesis is a method in which the amniotic fluid is basically, withdrawal, or it is basically taken out from through the syringe, okay, and that amniotic fluid is sent to the lab for karyotyping. Karyotyping means basically study of the chromosomes. Karyotyping, study of chromosomes, study of pattern of chromosomes, study of chromosomes, right? Understood? So that is why amniocentesis it is done to basically get a brief about that, whether the arrangement of all the chromosomes is same, whether the number of chromosomes is same, whether there should not be any less number of chromosomes or a large number of chromosomes, more number of chromosomes. Okay, so basically to maintain the ploidy, mean whatever the condition is for the normal well-being, the karyotyping is done. Okay, but nowadays karyotyping is basically, it is used to know the bar bodies, to know whether the unborn baby is a male or a female, okay, which is basically a criminal offense, and although it is banned by the government, even then, okay, everything can happen on the urge of money. Okay, strategies employed for solving the problems. What are the different strategies one should opt for solving all these reproductive related problems? Awareness about reproduction, very important. Okay, they should be given exact amount of information which is required. Audio visual, print media, governmental and non-governmental agencies, they are basically taking care of this awareness programs, okay, for making maximum number of people, especially in the grassroots level, to get educated about the reproductive problems and how to prevent them from different types of reproductive diseases. Parents, close relatives, friends, teachers also have a major role in giving the above information. Okay. Now, sex education. Sex education is basically, it helps us to know about the reproductive health, why reproductive health is necessary, and what are the different measures, what are the different strategies one could opt for having the reproductive health in their life, how they can make themselves reproductive healthy, right? So that is why sex education should be given to them. Knowledge of growth of reproductive organs and STDs. Okay, they should be given proper knowledge about the growth of reproductive organs, how reproductive organs they grow, what is the age of maturity of reproductive organs. Okay, is somehow because of some physiological functions, someone who is actually not having a sense, they are not being educated enough, they might have that sense of fear, okay, why the changes at the age of puberty are happening. Okay, so because of those changes, they were meant like that, okay, they are suffering from some kind of disease, but exactly they are not suffering from some kind of disease, it is a natural procedure. Okay, like frankly speaking, menstrual cycle, especially in the areas in which the mothers, the daughters, they exactly don't have sense that what is exactly menstrual cycle, and no one actually have ever taught them that this is a normal phase in a life of a female. But if it happens, they might get that fear that okay, this painful procedure is going to kill them, but afterwards they got to know that okay, everything is normal. The knowledge of the growth of reproductive organs and sexual transmitted diseases, because the reproductive organs, they grow at an age in which the body is under the hormonal influence, and because of these hormonal influence, the body is at high metabolic phase. This high metabolic phase means body is at high levels of energy. Okay, the metabolic reactions are very high. Okay, mean because of this, the energy which is produced is so much that they actually have to psychologically, physically balance the distribution of this energy. Okay, so psychologically means at the age of puberty, because of the abrupt release of androgens and testosterones, the masculine nature in case of boys, males, which are going to turn in males, okay, they have a very huge sign of getting angry again and again, okay. They lose their calmness very easily. They come under the stage of anger, fight. So that is because of, that is basically a reflection that, okay, they are having a high surge of hormones in blood, okay. So actually that part is to be controlled by the counseling, which is done by parents, teachers, relatives, friends, and self counseling as well. Other than that, they should be educated about well enough that why these changes are happening and what are the reasons these changes should be controlled. Okay, what are the consequences of these changes and how these changes can lead to, if not controlled at proper time, it can lead to a habit. And if these changes become a habit, okay, they might be, going to, or they might be in a habit of having unsafe sexual intercourse with the sex workers, so they might be suffer from different types of sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, now the birth control devices and the care of mother and child. Okay, so fertile couples and people of marriageable age group should know about the different kinds of birth control devices. What are the different kinds of birth control devices? How a lady, according to the Indian Constitution, a pregnant lady, she is having 100% right, okay, on herself, on her thought and on her wish when and where she is going to get pregnant. Okay, nobody can steal, nobody can take out this right of hers. So there should also be awareness about care of pregnant mothers. Okay, so pregnant mothers, they should be given a proper care, means prenatal care. Okay, prenatal care. Okay, care to be taken during delivery especially. Okay, so during delivery, before delivery, everything should be taken care of. So birth control devices, they should know that what are the different birth control devices. Okay, if they don't want a baby of on that time, okay, it's fine. Okay, now if they are pregnant, then how they can take care of their health, how they can take care of their baby, their own health. Okay, so that is why it is to be taken care of. They are okay, and they should be given medical facilities, especially the ones which are not easily reachable to the some hospitals and all. Okay, postnatal care. So basically it is being divided into three phases: the prenatal care before the delivery, natal at the time of delivery, and postnatal after delivery. So the lady, mean the pregnant woman, as well as the baby, they both have sufficient amount of nourishment. Okay, especially in case of Indian culture, the women, they actually perform the same daily routine the ones they are basically discharged by the hospitals, especially after having a normal deliveries. Normal deliveries means they don't are surgically operated. Okay, so normal deliveries mean, but it is a thought process. If a lady is having a normal delivery, she is basically bid to take more care than the cesarean one. Okay, cesarean means the surgically operated one. Okay, why? Because large, especially because of the loss of blood in large amount. Although the female, she gets recover very fast, but she should take care of that time. Okay, so self care is the biggest care. So the lady should take care of herself. Okay, special awareness should also be done for stressing on the importance of breastfeeding. Especially breastfeeding mean the breast milk, the very good source of immunoglobulin, especially IgA and IgG, and the importance of female child, equality between male and female child. Okay, so the society should understand the equality, the importance of a female, because a female is basically a creator. She is a creator. Okay, she is basically making a frame of having a male or a female. So if you are just removing the creator, okay, so no, the progenies will be hampered, they are not going to be produced. Okay, Prevention of sex abuse and sex related crime. Okay, the sex abuse and sex related crimes, they should be prevented anyhow, okay, by involving the forensic departments, by involving the criminal investigation departments and all. Information of reproduction related problems, then reproduction related problems, they should be informed. If they are having or suffering from any reproduction related problems, they should be informed at proper time, so that easy measures could stepped up regardingly. Okay, research in reproductive health areas, okay, especially the researchers, they should be aided or they should be funded more, okay, so that they can have a research more in the reproductive health area, so that they can control or they can suggest a method of having a easy control on the population explosion, how they can make some techniques which can make or give a sense, okay, or control the birth, okay, without having side effects on female, okay. So it basically depends upon the researchers, the type of medicine, the type of drug they are basically making, okay. Like CDRI, Central Drug Research Institute, Lucknow, okay, they basically made the Saheli, which is a contraceptive drug, okay. So these researchers, they actually are very important in the medical industry, because they give actually a whole soul sense about the drug and the side effects of the drug, the uses of the drug, okay, and the medical facilities as well. Medical facilities, it includes the care of the lady during pregnancy, before pregnancy and after pregnancy, okay. So all these things, all these strategies should be employed, okay, to solve the above problems whatever we have discussed, okay. Now coming to next, this is the process of amniocentesis. Amniocentesis is basically done by taking a fine bore needle, okay, fine needle, which is placed at a umbilical axis, which is placed at a umbilical axis of 90 degrees. This is the umbilical axis, and it is placed at 90 degrees, okay, and it is just punctured to have the amniotic fluid, okay. Before puncturing, the ultrasound transducer basically help that vibration of the position of the baby, okay. So amniocentesis is the fetal sex determination, which is basically by law it is a criminal offense, and a disordered test based on the chromosomal pattern in the cells in the amniotic fluid surrounding the developing embryo. This amniotic fluid is basically having amniogenic cells, okay, and traces of inner cell mass, especially the amniogenic cells. And these amniogenic cells, they help to they help us to trace with the pattern of chromosomes. So basically the method was actually designed to diagnose any genetic abnormality. Okay, like if the ones who are having humans, they are having 46 number of chromosomes, but because of any reason the number of chromosomes get increased or decreased, okay, whether it is a polyploidy, whether it is a aneuploidy, any kind of condition in which the number of chromosomes changes, it lead to disastrous syndrome, okay. It can lead to abnormal functioning of body, short lifespan of body, mental retardation, and other physical deformities. So basically the test is done to diagnose whether the person, he or she, they might be suffering from genetical disorders or not, okay. It is just to confirm that, okay. Now coming next, nowadays we are more over to this method, the chronic villus sampling, the chorionic villi, the hemochorial villi, okay, especially creating a relation between the placenta and the mother. So chorionic villus sampling and amniocentesis, they are basically differentiated here, I'll first read about the chorionic villus sampling. Chorionic villus sampling, a sample of chorionic villi. You know chorionic villi, it is basically a, you can say the placenta, it is having two parts. This is the placenta, and this placenta is having two parts. The chorionic part, which is the fetal part, and the maternal decidual part. Okay, this is the maternal decidual part and the chorionic villi. Okay, so these chorionic villi, the finger-like projections, they are actually taken out. Okay, can be taken as early the 10th week of pregnancy. The moment 10th week of pregnancy is achieved, is attained, then only this chorionic villi tissue is taken out. Suction tube inserted through the cervix, and how it is basically taking out. Okay, the suction tube is inserted through the cervix. Okay, suction tube is inverted through the cervix, right? And it is ultrasound monitor, which is basically keeping a check on the position of the baby. Okay, now the villi are taken out. After that, it is having a sample of fetal cells, right? It is basically sent for biochemical and genetic test. Means amniocentesis is not only method, or chorionic villi sampling is not only the method for sex determination. They are basically helping us with biochemical and genetic analysis. Biochemical means they basically help us to know that okay, the developing baby is suffering from some deficiency of a particular enzyme, some deficiency of particular protein in them. So they basically help us to understand that as well. Now fetal cells, the karyotyping and biochemical and genetic test can be performed on the fetal cells immediately, providing the result within a day or so. This is chorionic villi sampling. In amniocentesis, a sample of amniotic fluid can be taken starting at 15th week of pregnancy. This is taken at the 15th week of pregnancy. Amniotic fluid is withdrawn. Okay. Now you can see the site. This is not the cervix. This is the cervix site. Chorionic villi sampling. It is sent for centrifugation. Okay. The fluid is collected having fetal cells. Sent for biochemical and genetic test, can be performed immediately on the amniotic fluid or later on the cultured cells. Now, several weeks, fetal cells must be cultured for several weeks to obtain sufficient numbers of karyotyping. So that is why amniocentesis, it takes very much of time, okay, to exactly know the karyotyping, means the arrangement of chromosomes you can see, okay, starting from chromosome number 1 to the 23, okay, as we are having 23 pairs, right? So this basically karyotyping in case of amniocentesis, it takes so much of time, and that is why the CVS technique is nowadays used. Okay, chorionic villi sampling. Okay, now coming to next, my dear students, population explosion. What exactly population explosion? So till here, what we have done? We have done about the problems. What are the different problems related to reproductive health, in which the overpopulation is basically the biggest critical problem. Then we have learned to know that what are the different strategies to prevent these problems. Okay, what are the different strategies of prevent these problems. Okay, then we learn about the amniocentesis, we learn about the chorionic villi sampling and the amniocentesis. Now we are on to population explosion. What is population? Population is defined as the total number of individuals of a species present in a particular area at a given time. Okay, when a group of individuals belonging to a particular species, if they are representing a particular area at a particular time, then that group is known as what? Population. A species has many populations living in different regions, obviously. At different places, a species has many populations living in that different regions. The scientific study of population is known as what? Demography. Okay, the scientific study of population is known as what? Demography. Demography or demography deals with three different aspects. There are mainly three important projections on which the demography or demography believes in. Changes in population size in terms of growth or decline. The size of the population, it is changing towards growth or towards decline, whether the population total number of the individuals in a given area are increasing or decreasing. So it basically is based on, the study of population is based on this factor. Okay, the changes in population size in terms of growth or decline. Composition of population. Composition of population means the population is having the individuals belonging to different age groups. So the ones which are pre-reproductive, reproductive and post-reproductive. So there are three basically ages segregated. The pre-reproductive ones, the reproductive ones and the post-reproductive ones. Now there is a very important term or very important concept. The countries which are having the post-reproductive individuals at high levels, their population is inclined towards most post-reproductive individuals, they have less population size, or they are considered to be the developed nations. The ones which are having more reproductive or pre-reproductive, moreover reproductive population high or dominating on the other two categories, then they are the developing nations. And especially in India, the age group belonging from the age of 11 to 17, they constitute maximum of the population size. They constitute maximum of the population size, and that is why we are under a set of developing nation. So composition of the population basically help us to justify or the segregate, or help us to know that okay, these are the common causes of having high population. Now distribution of population in space, how that population is distributed in a given area, highly densile, moderately densile or low densile, whether that area is having high population density, moderate population density or lower population density. Basically it is helping us to know that these are the resources. Now those resources are to be exploited anyhow, okay, but if someone is wisely exploiting them, then those resources can be carried forward to the coming generations as well. And that is why it is very important to understand the fact that the distribution of the population in space basically reflects the amount of resources that population is having in their hands, right? Now demography is composed of five demographic processes: fertility, mortality, marriage, migration and social mobility. First is fertility, which accounts for exact number of fertile couples or fertile individuals. Mortality, the ones who are dying. Marriage, the ones who are having marriage. Migration, the one who left over the space and they are moving to some other place, or the ones who are coming in that area. Or social mobility, okay, how is the social mobility is there, okay. These five processes continually work within a population, determining size, composition and distribution, okay. So these basically factors, the fertility, mortality, marriage, migration, social mobility, it helps to control the population size, composition and distribution. Understood? So I hope this slide is also clear. Scientific study of the population is known as what? Demography, and the three factors I just explained: the changes in population size in terms of growth or decline, composition of population, okay, means pre-reproductive, reproductive and post-reproductive, and distribution of population space, okay. Now coming to next, population growth. What exactly population growth is? Rapid increase in the population over a relatively short period of time is called a population explosion. Rapid increase in the population mean you can just watch the intervals, the time required to reach to the maximum size of a population or increasing population. The time is less and the increase is high. If the rate of multiplying of these individuals is very high in comparison to the time required, then it is known as what? Population explosion, okay. So rapid increase in the population over a relatively short period of time is called population explosion, okay. the increase or decrease in population, the increase or decrease in population size, the increase or decrease in population size is dependent on 4 basic processes. There are 4 basic processes which actually help us to know that whether the population size is increasing or decreasing. Understood? Now, natality. Natality means refers to birth rate. Natality basically means refers to birth rate. Birth rate means what? The number of births which are taking. Okay. So natality is basically refers to the birth rate. Mortality, it refers to death rate. Mortality refers to death rate. Okay. The number of individuals which are dying. Immigration, the number of individuals that have come into the habitat. Immigration means, for example, we are selecting one habitat and the number of individuals which are coming to that habitat are basically immigrants. Immigration, the number of individuals of population who left the habitat. Okay. For example, if I am considering my place, okay, so the number of individuals, suppose this is a area I select. Previously, there were 10 individuals. Okay. Those 10 individuals, 2 of them undergo reproduction. Okay. I mean 2 are of reproductive age and 8 are of non-reproductive age. Or they are of reproductive age but they are not married, any of the reasons. They get divide. When they divide, both of them, they have 1-1 issue. Mean now the total population is what? 12. Understood? So increase in population size. Mortality. During the birth, the mother, she get collapsed. One of the mother, she get collapsed after giving delivery to the baby. Means now they have one individual which is less to make the population size 11. Okay. In the search of resources, 2 foreigners, they just moved in that area. Okay. So 11 plus 2, now we are having 13 individuals. And after the mother or the wife of a husband, the wife that collapsed, now the husband is in deep depression. Okay. And he wants a new area to explore. He goes out. Okay. So this will lead to again decrease in population. It means around and all the population size nearly remains constant. It nearly remains constant. Understood? So natality rate is basically that refers to the birth rate, mortality rate refers to the death rate, and then immigration and immigration. Okay. Immigration is coming in, and immigration, exit. E for exit, I for inlet. So immigration, aa jao, come. Okay. Immigration goes out. Understood? Now coming to next, we will talk about the natality and migration. They basically contribute to increase in population. Natality, that is birth rate. Okay, they basically helps to contribute to increase in population, how population size is increasing. Mortality and immigration on the other hand contributes to the decrease in population, though they exactly help to balance the population size. Okay, so natality plus immigration, increase in population size, and mortality and immigration, decrease in population size. The population density is the number of individuals of a species per unit area. What is population density? Number of individuals living per unit area in a given space per unit time. Okay. The number of individuals living in per unit area per unit time, it is known as what? Population density. Population density is denoted by capital D, and it is number of individuals upon space. Number of individuals, suppose 10 and the area is 1 meter square or 1 kilometer square, 1. So the population density is of 10, right? So it is n by actual s space. Okay. Population growth is of generally of two types. Population growth is of generally two types, right? The exponential growth means the growth which is basically having unlimited resources and they are just growing and growing, dividing and dividing, and they are just growing. Okay. So basically exponential growth means that, okay, now that they are moving, they are going up without any hesitation, okay, without any stop. So this is the exponential growth curve, which is the J-shaped growth curve, and it is basically practiced in that area where the abrupt or abundant resources are there. Okay, in populations, individuals, they are actually not, they are not worried to think of that, okay, the resources, they can be limited, okay, and they can limit their growth. Now, logistic growth curve is the S-shaped or the sigmoid growth curve. This is the S-shaped or the sigmoid growth curve. This type of population growth is called Weyerhaeuser-Pearl logistic growth. Okay, Weyerhaeuser-Pearl logistic growth. This is known as what? Weyerhaeuser-Pearl logistic growth. Okay, and it is basically expressed dn by dt. Dn basically means the number of individuals and dt is the time. Okay, so dn by dt is equal to, mean it is a differential. Dn by dt means it is rate. So rate of means the population size or the change in population size with respect to time. Rate of change of population size. Rate of change of population size is equal to k minus n by k, where capital K is the carrying capacity. Carrying capacity means every space is having its own carrying capacity. That space is meant for the accommodation of 20,000, 30,000. It basically denotes that every space is having their carrying capacity. Okay, n is the number of individuals living. Okay, understood? So this is the Weyerhaeuser-Pearl logistic curve, a growth, okay, which is a sigmoid or S-shaped curve. Now what exactly this curve is showing? See, in a J-shaped curve, as the time progresses, the individuals, they basically divide, and they are not meeting any environmental resistance. They are not meeting any, stop over the resources. So they are dividing and dividing without any second thought. They are increasing their population. But here in case of logistic growth curve, you can see the population size, it was first dividing with slow pace, and they have increased the rate of division. The rate of population size increased. This population size again and again, when after reaching to a particular limit, this limit they have reached. So at this time, if suppose this is the peak they achieved. Now what will happen? Now they are going to flatten. Why? Because at this time they have been offered by the resistive factors such as decrease in natural resources, because any physiologic process, whether keeping us alive as well, needs resources, and these resources, they have to be taken care of very wisely, because these resources, they are for us, okay, they are not because of us. So carrying capacity is basically helping us to know that, okay, till this time the maximum population size which is achieved, okay, so that is the carrying capacity at a particular time, at a particular space. Of that space, for that particular time, the maximum capacity of individuals it can hold with, so that is the carrying capacity, right? Where n is the population density at a time t, r is the intrinsic rate of natural increase, then k is the carrying capacity. the distribution of human population is not uniform. It is not uniform, as you can see throughout the world. Some areas are thickly populated, some areas are thickly populated, and some areas are thinly populated. And these areas which are thickly populated or thinly populated, they basically depends upon the resources, the availability of the resources the area is having. Understood? So I hope this growth curve is being understood by everyone. Okay, it's very important. We are having two types of growth curves. One is the J-shaped growth curve, and the other one is the logistic growth curve, which is known as what? Sigmoid growth curve. Okay. So my dear students, we will be dealing with the next few topics which are remaining in this chapter. Okay. So till then, I'll take your leave. We will be coming with the second part of this chapter. Okay. This is the first lecture. I will be throwing the next lecture on the remaining topics. Till then, bye bye. Take care, everyone.